Welcome back to the Art of War series and how it relates to fighting games. We're back with our 6th chapter in the series, Weak Points and Strong. Whoever is the first into the field and awaits the coming in of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten into battle will arrive exhausted. When entering a tournament or a local, ensure you arrive early and have adequate time to prepare. That way you will not be stressed or in a rush. When playing online, it's very important to make sure you are well rested, as it will improve your response times, patience, and critical thinking ability. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. Make sure when you engage the opponent that you allow the fight to be carried out on your terms. If you have the life lead, make them come to you. Don't get tilted. Force them to conform to a game plan that favors you. By holding out advantages to him, he can cause the enemy to approach of his own accord, or, by inflicting damage, he can make it impossible for the enemy to draw near. As mentioned in the previous chapters, use baits to lure the enemy in, or if it suits your game plan, inflict damage with projectiles to keep them out. Either way, so long as the enemy responds in a predictable fashion, you will hold the advantage. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. This speaks to the neutral game in footsies. Your opponent will always have a range where they want to keep you to which they are comfortable and hold the greatest advantage. Recognize these spaces, and do your best to keep from being locked down in them. Alternatively, also maneuver yourself in ways that are unexpected to keep them off balance when the time is right. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. You can ensure the safety of your defenses if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. Hence that general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. When your neutral game is so strong that your attacks cannot be anticipated, and your defense is solid enough that you leave them no opportunity to catch you off guard, you will not fear the outcome of any match. You may advance and be absolutely irresistible if you make for the enemy's weak points. You may retire and be safe from pursuit if your movements are more rapid than those of the enemy. Why risk exposing yourself with random uppercuts or wake-up reversals, when you can instead identify a flaw in their defense and exploit it? When you do, your chances of the attack being successful increase tenfold. By the same token, look for patterns in their movement, and wait for the right time to retreat if need be. Both methods are far more reliable than panicking and hoping for the best. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack from several different points, and his forces being thus distributed in many different directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. As mentioned before, you cannot allow your intentions to become obvious. If you buff a super too many times, the opponent will recognize your intentions and attempt to bait a response. If you repeat an action too many times, it will become a liability rather than an advantage. Keep your opponent guessing, and remain formless to their eyes in order to lure out unforced errors from them. Rouse him, and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself, so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Collecting data is a crucial part of any match. Even when you understand how your opponent's character functions, one person might play them differently to another. As such, you should spend time during the early parts of the match making careful note of how they react to your actions, so as to gauge their mental state and intentions. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Conceal your dispositions, and you'll be safe from the prying of the subtlest spies, from the machinations of the wisest brains. By the same token, ensure your own intentions are not obvious to your opponent, or easily lured out. Make sure that they never know when or where you will strike. All men can see the tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved. This might seem like a contradiction, but what this means is that anyone can see by what actions you were able to win a match. What they should not be able to see, however, is the decisions and strategy that led you to that victory. Do not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. What has worked in the past is not guaranteed to work in the future. Make sure you are always ready to alter your strategy to avoid becoming predictable. Military tactics are like unto water, for water in its natural course runs away from high places and hastens downwards. So in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. This is very simple when applied to fighting games. As tempting as it might be, do not flowchart. There will never be a constant state of conditions that will allow you to be formulaic in your approach. You need to be always adapting to the circumstances and using them to your advantage. To try anything else will not be just fighting your opponent, but you'll be fighting the natural order of the world itself. As such, he who can modify his tactics in relation to his opponent and thereby succeed in winning may be called a heaven-born captain. And that concludes Chapter 6, Weak Points and Strong. As always, please remember to like and subscribe for future content, and I will return next week with Chapter 7, Maneuvering.